It's a new week, but for Clarenzo, it's the same old beef. Let's talk about it. They 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 talk about it. Welcome back to She Could Talk to Podcast. I'm your host, Gangalee. A, and that's Gangalee on all streaming platforms. If you want to check out my music, look for the red glasses, look for the locks. You tell me if I can rock, okay? Okay. But over here on YouTube, on She Could Talk to Podcast, this is where I react to everything. I react to news, sports, crimes, musicians, politicians, YouTubers, TikTokers. If they're talking about it, I'm talking about it, okay? Okay. Now, before I get into my whole reaction that I'm going to get into, I want to send you all an e-kiss and give you all a shout out there. A lot of you have been telling me that you like my intro song. And I'm like, why, thank you. But you said, no. I found it online on iTunes, on Spotify, all over the place. And it was like, I knew that was you, and it's a dope song. So I want to shout you all out and give you an e-kiss. Thank you, because that's something that I haven't really even promoted, that yes, my theme song is actually a real song, and it is on all streaming platforms. You know, they talk about it, they talking, Gangalee, so go ahead and check that out. But you know, I experiment with different types of genres from time to time, so you know, I have fun with all what I do. So if you like it, I appreciate it. I thank you so much. And I just thank you all for rocking with me nonetheless. So with that being said, we're going to mosey on down into what we are really here for, all right? Our updates. So, I'm trying to kind of keep up as much as I can. I've been trying to do a weekend review, but I feel like since the fight has happened, it's just been a lot of rapid fire updates, rapid fire back and forth lives between Claressa versus everybody at this point, right? So, I'm just trying to keep up with it, right? And keep you all informed and not really encroach on other people's content. So I'll react to a few things, but I definitely will send you over to the correct, content creator or channel that I am reacting to, or getting the content from the videos of Claressa, okay, our girl. So first starters, we're going to start out here with Fight Hype. So shout out to Fight Hype. They actually captured Claressa. I guess she was either doing a live or she was streaming. I don't know. This girl stays on social media. But she was talking about Franchon Crews, and she was basically going into her rant and rave and, saying how Franchon's continue to go live and all this other stuff. But of course, it's some things that have my spidey senses tingling, so I wanted to react to it and share it with you all and get your opinion on it as well. So without further ado, we're going to start out with Claressa talking smack about Franchon post-fight, and Fight Hype caught the deets. So let's get into it.
I really hate to say it, but she just being a sore loser.
Who is?
My opponent, sore loser.
Oh, you just read something? What happened?
No, she keep going live. She keep making tweets. She keeps saying stuff. And it's like, that's not stuff that's not true. But it's like, you know what? You showed up. You fought. You competed. You lost. 90 to 100.
That was part of the script.
Best efforts.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like,
it was an obvious loss too. It wasn't like something to be questionable about, or even like,
I know.
Like rematch wise, I wouldn't even think that.
Rematch, girl,
like it was very classy. Like, it was very classy at the end. I thought y'all made up. I was like, oh, okay, like that's how it should be. But then I don't.
You know what? But that's when it's been this whole lead up. It's like when we're face to face.
Yeah.
It's this. Then when we're not face to face, it's something else. So it's been like that the whole time.
Claressa really doesn't care.
The whole time, like nothing.
In my opinion, Claressa really doesn't care. It's just content that's going to keep her talked about in the media. But she doesn't care about Franchon Crews. She doesn't care about her feelings. And she don't care about the fact that she made her and her family look crazy over the past weekend, in my opinion. Because I tell you, the more and more I slide down these rabbit holes of Claressa and the world of Papoose, I form an opinion, right? As we all do. And my opinion right now on the whole Franchon Crews and Claressa ordeal is and I'm going to stand on it. Franchon is the first Remy, okay? Because you say it time and time again that you have respect for this girl, or the girl hits hard. You watched her since you was 13 years old, right? You fought this girl 5 times. There's no one else to fight. There's no one else to fight. You couldn't have like imported someone from another country to fight at this point, but you fought this girl 5 times. Beat her every time. What would be different, right? Now this fight, I would say I'm kind of a little guilty of. I was hoping it was going to be some type of a redemption fight for Franchon. In addition to it, if not a full thorough win, right? A good couple of licks in there, like a good couple of rounds, like for Franchon and a couple of rounds for Claressa, or maybe a couple of rounds for Franchon and majority for Claressa. But it didn't seem like that. Another thing, you know me, I always go off the deep end. Danielle Perkins, who fought that night, she looked in stellar shape. Did you see her? Danielle Perkins fought Claressa last year. I reacted to it when Danielle Perkins and Claressa Shields fought last year. And I said, Claressa, that girl looks super scary. She looks big. She looks like twice your size. Super scary. The crazy thing, though, is she did not fight at all like that when she fought Claressa. It didn't look. I was like, wow. Like, I even thought to myself, I even said it in my reaction. I said Danielle Perkins must be on her way out, retiring, because she fought Claressa like it, right? And then to see her in the ring this past weekend against Shay Keneally, and she broke Shay Keneally's jaw in the ring. And the form, this girl was in good form. She didn't seem no far different or no far off in the shape that she was in last year. Like, she looks consistent with her shape, right? For fighting Claressa's versus this new fight. And she broke this girl's jaw. And I was surprised to see that they were homies. And now that Danielle Perkins is signed to Claressa's promotion team. Very interesting. All that to say is Danielle Perkins, looking at her over the weekend, looks like she has a lot of power to her. Was she holding back on the Claressa fight? All right. Well, we're going to continue there. I don't know. I just thought about that.
I switched up, and that's the only thing I'm like, you know what? This is like, I've been dealing with it for like 3 weeks now. We did a couple press conferences, couple face-offs, and it was like, when we face to face, nothing.
Yeah.
But when we go on the internet, oh yeah, she is like, oh, the stuff that she said, she wishing death on people.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, she deleted her little post that she made, but people got on where she's.
I saw the post and I got that, and she didn't say she wished death on you. She said you are dead to her going forward. So that to me is like the worst thing a person can say, because they're going to mourn you and they're going to treat you as if you're no longer here because they choose to cut you off, right? So that's a little bit different than saying, I hope you die, right? She didn't say, I hope you die, I wish death on you. She didn't say nothing like that. God forbid, right? We don't want to talk like that. She didn't say that, though. She said, you're dead to me, meaning that you don't exist to me going forward from here, and I'm going to mourn the friendship that we had, but I'm not pursuing a friendship with you anymore. So I don't see how you interpreted that as they're wishing dead on you. Because it's a phrase, it's a saying, but it doesn't necessarily mean that someone's wishing death on you. Okay, but let's continue.
Wishing death on folks. Talking about she wish people to die.
She didn't.
All type of stuff. So she's just gonna keep doing it. And hey, I get it. Her fighting against me is probably like the biggest clout that she gonna get. And It's like, hey, live in your 15 minutes of
The irony of life is she was the biggest clout at one point in time for Claressa to fight. Claressa said it out her own mouth that girl was someone that she looked up to, and she basically ultimately her goal was to either meet or exceed her accolades. And she did, right? And she did. And I said to you all the time, I said, I guess having that one-track mind it is working in Clarissa's favor because she don't really have too much else to think about, logic, reasoning, or anything else. So she could just focus on what she wants, and she's one track mind to it. She focused on Franchon, one tracked her mind through it, plowed through her 5 times. She focused on Remy Ma and Papoose, one tracked her mind through it, plowed through it, and destroyed that marriage. Right? So you see what I'm saying? It's like she's gonna whatever she focuses on can be a scary thing because she's gonna plow through it.
Of a fame or glory, but I'm going to continue to press forward. And after my
We know,
vacation,
girl.
I'm going to be looking at who my next opponent is, because I plan on fighting 3 times this year. And let
So
you know, don't break the hey, don't break the rules again, because I tap that ass again. Yeah, I dominated in front of 18,000 up in Detroit. I tapped that ass. Yep. Yeah, I I beat that face up. What she was saying to me? Oh, I wanna.
so I knew that she was gonna go there. So and I highlighted it too, so I know exactly where she's going because I reacted to it and I said they seem cordial right there too. So it was Franchon Crews with Dimitri. I was reacting to it. I have it on my page here. They were interviewing her fight weekend, and then that's when it was talking like the ring is small and all this other stuff. And then Clarissa walks up and said, "What round are you gonna knock Clarissa out in?" And she walked up to Clarissa and was like, "Oh, I want to put hands all over you. I want to make this last so we can go all 10 rounds, or I could knock it out like fight night, whatever." And then she was like, "Oh," she filmed it. She was like, "Thank you," and walked. She was like, "With your cute ass." That's what Franchon said to her, to Clarissa. She called her cute, and then Clarissa was like, "Thank you." And then Franchon walked away. So it seemed like friendly banter. There was definitely some ish talking, but it didn't seem like beef. And mind you, this was still all prior to the weigh in. Right? So at that time, and this, hear me out now, because it's boxing, right? So you should talk, ish. You should be able to talk that boxing talk or whatever like that. That get that Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard on, right? So when she says, what round you gonna knock out Franchon Crews? I'm knock out Claressa Shields, and then Franchon Crews answers her and everything like that, and say, "Oh, I'm gonna knock it out." Boom, boom. That would have been a good time to say, "Oh, word, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that," and have that shit talking between the two of them, right? Instead, it's virtually a week later. You won the fight. You won the social media. You won. And this is what she's harping on.
Yeah, I want the fight to last all 10, unless you want to go less and, beat the little mama up, all that stuff she was talking, man. Like I told her, I had all the smoke in the world for her ass. Even before she got the popping it
We
online
know,
and
girl.
making up lies. I was gonna beat her ass the same way had she
We
not made
know.
a post or not. That's what's crazy about it.
We know because you're an evil
I was gonna
villain.
beat her ass like that either way. I don't care. I don't care.
We know.
I'm smaller than all these girls up at heavyweight. Smaller than them, in better shape than them. Hold on. They want to talk about, oh, Miss retired champ. Want to talk about who fat and who this and who that.
Now you know who she's talking about. She's talking about our girl Laila Ali. Now, Layla, I think we're gonna see a little bit more of Layla. And Layla, you already know I'm on deck. I'm looking for whatever proofamentary you will be dropping next. Okay? But she's talking about Layla because she's talking about, and in particular when Layla did her documentary and she said, "Hey, look, Clarissa needs to get a nutritionist, get a fitness trainer, strength and conditioning coach, and then go down a couple of weights." It wasn't about saying that you're overweight, you're out of shape, you're fat, nothing like that. She was strictly talking about boxing and strictly saying, "Hey, I gave her ideals and said, hey, if you really want to dominate, you went all the way up. Now go all the way back down and knock them girls out that's down there because the real competition is not in the weight class that she's in." And I was really rooting for her and Franchon Crews. But after watching her and Franchon Crews fight, I was like, I don't know, girl. You might have to lose that weight and go down because what are you doing up there? What are you doing? So Layla never said, "Oh, you're fat, you're this, you're that." She was giving you some pointers and suggestions to really dominate, right? In the ring. But you heard what you heard, as we always know.
Want to try to body shame folks? Yeah. Yeah, bitch. Came with a six pack on your ass. Came with a six pack on your ass. Try again. Try again. Try again. Now lift your shirt up and let.
Now, is it this? And the crazy thing for me is this: like, if I just want to fight, right? My first fight, a part of my $8 million deal, I sold out the arena, had the biggest, baddest after party with all the dealers. I mean, all the celebrities. Why this week right here would be my vacation week? Like, you know how, like, back in the days when the Super Bowl, whoever won the Super Bowl, they'd be like, now that you won the Super Bowl, what are you going to do? And they'd be like, I'm going to Disney World. Remember, like, you've done something great, right? You've accomplished your win. You got the W. They should be saying to you, now that you got the W, what are you doing? And you should be like, I'm going off to Paris with a young man, 30 years old. I don't know. Or something to that effect, right? But no, she's back online, terrorizing the internet, bothering us. I always see people say that on different comments. They be like, she keeps bothering us. Like, it's funny when people think you're bothering them and you're the celebrity in your mind. But yeah, so she's went from Franchon Crews to Layla. Didn't even breathe. Didn't miss a beat. And talk about pull up your shirt. What's your six pack? Girl, Layla's a wife with children. Her children are closer to your age at this point versus not. Leave Layla alone. Leave her alone. But I guess later going, you know how they say, poke the bear is going to come. I have a feeling that we're going to see a part 3 real soon. And you know, guys, I'm going to be all over it. I'm going to be all over it. Layla, you might as well just go on and send it to me first, Layla, because I'm all over it. But all right, let's continue.
Let's see what you got. Try again. What? I worked my ass off this can. And I got up in better shape. Had my guns locked and loaded. Letting them motherfucking shots fire off my arm.
Fun. I'm about all of that fashion.
So let me pause it real quick here. So this is when Franchon went live. And I actually watched the live, but I was kind of multitasking, so I couldn't really get into it, like as far as like capture stuff, right? So I'm just kind of getting the bits and pieces that I can find, right? So this stuck out to me though, because it says Franchon says the fashion y'all love Claressa for was inspired by her. Everything y'all love about Claressa, I've been doing that. Now this is a picture of them, like how she looked back in the, you know, in the day when she was hanging out with Claressa, and that's how Claressa looks, right? And it is a clear difference. It is a clear difference, right? But I'm gonna tell you like this: destiny swapping is real. Okay? Destiny swapping is real. When someone looks at you and say, hey, look, she has it all together. She has a husband. She has a successful boxing career, whatever it is, and they covet it and want it from you, they will stop at nothing. And then you'll look up one day and you'll be like, I used to always be fashionable. I used to always be the it girl. What happened? How did it switch? Destiny swapping is real. So sometimes you got to be careful and protect your peace, but protecting your peace is also protecting your energy, because you'd be surprised how people are just standing around vigilant, waiting for you to spill a little bit of your sauce so they could slurp it right up and embody you. And I think I like I'm saying, I'm gonna stick to my guns. Before Remy, it was Franchon Crews-Dezurn. Franchon Crews-Dezurn crawled so Remy could walk, as far as victims go, for this girl, Claressa. Yeah. No, I'm gonna go back a bit. No, because she accomplished it. So yeah, Franchon Crews crawled so Remy could walk into in as far as Claressa and her destiny swapping goes. She was the first Remy. Let's continue. So right here now, what we're going to do is she's talking about the fashion. She's talking about how she was doing that stuff, the stuff that we're recognizing Claressa for. Let me tell you something, Franchon. No one's recognizing Claressa for fashion. No one is. She put some good looks together when the styling team, when Papoose comes through and he gets a couple of pictures, inspiration pictures from his wife and or reference pictures, and he gives it to the styling team and they replicate the look. That's different than putting together your own original style, regardless if some people like it or not. That's style. Because true style, not everyone's going to like it, but people will appreciate it, especially if you're into fashion, you know. But if someone could just put you together like a Barbie doll and make your picture perfect and, cake on the makeup and cover up all everything, and, then you're just, you become one of everyone else. You just become another one of them, right? It's not unique. And then as much times as people say she looks like Remy, I don't even think she cares anymore. I think she likes that. I think it's a compliment in her mind. Like, oh, I look like Remy. I'm achieving that look because I got her man. I got her look. I'm achieving it. So don't feel bad, Franchon. I would not even feel bad to worry about her taking or jacking any styles because we've seen her in the Louis Vuitton store, Franchon. We've seen her in the mall. We've seen her on a regular day. And we know how she takes care of herself versus a team. All right. We all could look 10 times better if we had a team at our beck and call. So
I also have a fashion page because I'm a designer. So I like to get fly. Like everything y'all love about Claressa, I've been doing that. No hate, no hate, no hate. You feel what I'm saying? She said in her mouth, she inspired. So I'm about music. I'm about fun. I'm about all of that fashion. I also have but I'm with the shits, if you understand what I'm saying.
So this right here is a part I had to grab up and catch up. And shout out to No Skips Tea. Shout out to No Skips Tea because this is where I kind of grabbed it from because it's hard to find, y'all. It's hard to find. But like if you weren't in on the live that day. But this right here is someone was asking her about or she was talking about that she was aware of Papoose and Claressa from approximately 2 years ago. And then she switched it up and said a year and some change, right? Now, if this is a person that Claressa has confided into, which I can see that, I believe her. I believe it's 2 years or more.
Yeah. 2 years, right?
Right.
I
2
don't
years.
speak on it because it's not my place. Even with her situation, if y'all notice and watch even the builder, I never spoke on her and her relationship because for me, a grown woman who's been married over 14 years,
Right.
I
Tell
don't
them.
play about mine. I don't play about my situation. I don't play about mine at all. And she's a grown woman. When she was younger, I would be like, hey, Claressa, you should take that down. Hey, Claressa, you should chill. She's grown. She's paid. She's coming to her own. Who am I to judge? When she come to me for that advice or she come to me to express herself, I give her my honest opinion. I say, I can't tell you what to do. I could suggest for you, right? Even with her relationship. But I never really even brought her in a relationship up between her and Papoose. And I knew about this a year, some change ago. I been knew about it. I just didn't speak on it because it's not my place. When she brought it to me, and there was another person in the room, I'm not going to bring them into it.
And I'm going to say like this. I believe she's being nice still by saying a year or two because she said 2 years at the beginning, but like a year or two. Because if you get technical, we've been aware of them publicly for about a year and some change now, right? But that's not the same with the timestamps from 2020 that Remy provided, plus other things, right? So I believe she's known about it since before Remy exposed us to it or exposed it to us because that's her friend. Right. And I also believe stuff like that is what led her to be a true friend, keep it quiet, regardless if she even did not appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Like you heard her say she got her own husband. She's been married for 14 years and she doesn't play about her situation. So I couldn't see me in a situation, married, etc., and condoning that, like supporting my homegirl on it. Now no one is perfect and we are all human. And I would lie to you and tell you that I ain't do no dumb shit in my day because I did. I was young. I was 18. You see what I'm saying? But you 18-year-old she could talk Gongali versus present day she could talk Gangali as two different people. Okay. And then, especially when you go through things, right? If you went through something like, adulterous affairs or whatever like that, and you've suffered the repercussions of it, you would know that it's not a good feeling. Now, also, when you're going through it, God will give you signs to let you know it's not good. And it's up to you to heed it or not, right? Now, in Claressa's case, there's a lot of it's jaded. I can see how she could be jaded with the science because, here he comes, now you got a famous rapping boyfriend. He's bringing like all this attention to you. Now you got 1 million followers and everyone's looking at you online, good or bad, because I don't think she understands or is able to differentiate between good press and bad press. And then some people be like, no news is good news. Any news is good news, right? So it just depends on how you receive that. But she's hype off of everything. He brought her $8 million deal. She's, now getting more attention and more eyes on her than she's ever did before. Now she has a glam squad. Now she looks like his ex-wife. There's so much stuff in her mind that's working in her favor that she does not see it as not being a blessing. This is a blessing for her. So I don't know what it's going to have to take, right, for her to kind of wake up to that. Maybe a Ike and Tina Turner moment. I don't know. But let's continue.
But when I was made known of it, I'm like, yo, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with the drama, but I'm with the shits, if you understand what I'm saying.
So I took that as when she said, when she told her, she was like, know what you're dealing with. But that's someone's husband, and that's someone famous. You're not dealing with a Tony Rich on the side, or, someone that can be low key. Like, you're really dealing with a high profile woman's husband. She don't care. So anyway, with her talking about Layla and saying how Layla needs to, lift up her shirt and show her. Why are you so obsessed? I don't know. I just be all over the place, but I just thought about it. Why are you so obsessed with the way Layla looks? First was, oh, so pretty ass Layla out. Oh, so light skin. And they're like, why are you? I feel like you want Layla. Not want to be her. Want Layla. You want a Layla buffet. I don't know, guys. I'm trying to figure it out. But nonetheless, right? So with her ranting and raving and calling Layla bitch's and saying, hey, look at my 6-pack and pick up your shirt so I can lust after your 6-pack. Layla's decided to drop some throwback Thursdays, if you will, on her Instagram. So she dropped here a video where she said this is one of 3 fights. She said she only had 3 fights on her resume that went to full term, all 10 rounds. Everything else has been a knockout for her. So one of 3 fights that went to the full term of all 10 rounds. And then she said something to the effect like the girl was strong. She wasn't no joke. It was a good fight. I think her name was Charvel, the girl that she was fighting. But she said, oh yeah, let me highlight one of 3 fights that did not have a knockout for me. So she had 24 fights, 21 knockouts. And she's showing you right now one of the 3 fights that went the distance. You see this? Bow, 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 bow. She's like, get off of me, girl. Look at her face. And she won. And this is what she posted on her page. You know what that was for. Like, girl, you are the opposite of me. You are 18 fights and 3 knockouts? Oh, let me pause it right here so I can read it to you. So she said, Throwback Thursday. One of only 3 fighters to go the distance with me in the ring. Chevelle Williams in 2002. My 11th pro fight following a 1-year break for shoulder surgery. It was also my first fight training under Roger Mayweather. I went back to the gym, ironed out a few kinks, and won all of my remaining fights by KO or TKO. I think I will start working on my next proofumentary now. I've been on a hiatus because they take a lot of work. After all, I am the talent the creative director, the producer, the researcher, editor, camera, lighting, and makeup. Let me go ahead and Layla, go on and tag She Could Talk in it as soon as you drop, please. Just go on and tag me in the description, girl, please. You know I got you. I got you, Layla. Just go on and tag me as soon as you drop. I'm all over it for you. You already know I got you. But yeah, so some of the comments in here, it says, what are y'all talking about? The Laila Ali never mentioned Claressa Shields in this post. Excuse me. It says she never mentioned Claressa Shields in this post. She posted her highlights. That's it. But let's be clear on the facts. Laila Ali is a former undefeated world champion, 24-0, 21 knockouts. She held multiple world titles in 2 weight divisions. She's the daughter of the boxing legend Muhammad Ali. She's been retired for years and still celebrates her legacy, as she should. I agree. Let me go ahead and give her a round of applause, as she should. And the thing about it is, why do you want, or why is it a problem for Claressa to, when Laila celebrates herself? Her wins are more than yours. So why should she dim her light for you? It's because this new generation is like, everything is controlled, right? And everyone thinks that there's no one, like this new generation, these new people, they think that no one is before Claressa. Claressa was the end all be all. 17 knockouts, 17 fights is the maximum. 3 knockouts is it's hard for a woman to knock out, so she did a great thing. It's always going to be an excuse, is what I'm saying, for everything that she does. And then someone like Laila, who's really did it, people want to hate on her. Her numbers, what they say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. All right, let's continue. So this was Laila's response. And she's working on another proof-mentary, and I'm here for it, guys. I will be vigilant. So now, just some more people that she's beefing with. This girl, Slim Thick, Slim Ma 97, it said, so she put up a couple of posts, or tweets, I should say, referring to Pap. So she said, tell Pap come F with a real champ, ugly. And so let me go back a bit. The girl wrote, when Papoose and, Claressa run, the girl tweeted out and said, Papoose is going to get some DICK tonight. You heard that right. She said, "Aw, Sookie, Papoose is going to get some DICK tonight." Not my words. That was Slim Ma's words. So Slim Ma said that, right? And then Claressa puts her next to this bear and says, "Hey, little ugly." And so she says, "Tell Pap come F with a real champ, ugly." And so she responds, "He wouldn't look your way, you snail. You ain't cute." So she's trying to say the girl isn't cute, right? If you go on her Twitter, where you will see, so this is where it started. She said, "I know Papoose got some DICK last night." Talk about Claressa. wait. Gotta hit you with the laughter. But she posted that on, like, "Hey, ugly," of the girl on her ex, thinking that her fans were gonna be like, because she do have some deranged fans that will just, they're gonna fight to the end, like, they're gonna promote whatever, they're gonna argue you down on her behalf. So I believe she thought that was what was gonna happen, that they was gonna like, "Oh, this girl ugly," and roast the girl. But the people was like, especially a lot of guys were like, "Nah, chill. She's actually cute. Like, why are you over here trying to, mess with this girl? Like, we can't pull out your baby pictures. Like, we can't pull out your pictures from 2 years ago." Like, and they started posting her pictures. The infamous picture when she had that bang out with the braids. Like, I don't know if she was like gearing up to get a sew-in or what, but the picture I'm talking about, infamous, the Olympic pictures. It just started flooding her ex. You can go over there and look at it because of this right here. So this girl said, "I know Papoose got some DICK last night." That sent her into a frenzy, and then she started posting like the girl was ugly, and the girl was like, nah, you ugly, tell Pap come over here and mess with a real champ. And then everybody else started joining in like, nah, you're bugging out, she is cute, she is not ugly. And then of course what's gonna happen next, people are gonna go over to her page and see what she looks like, and they was like, nah, chill, Claressa, you can't win this fight. And then she was like, I'm not ugly, Claressa, I'm not ugly. So now, the girl started out her tweet with this. It said, what started it? The girl said, I know Papoose got some dick last night. Now, I get it. She basically, but she calls herself Clarenzo. So what do you expect, right? So she said that joke. Let me get back to it. So she going to send this. Hey, little ugly, saying that the girl looks like this. Bear. Which, I don't see it. And also, she made sure she got something complected wise, matching the complexion. I digress. So she said, he wouldn't look your way, you snail. You ain't cute, right? After she called the girl ugly, and the girl said, tell Pap come F with a real champ. And she said, he wouldn't look your way, you snail. You ain't cute. And then the guys started flooding her Twitter. And was like, nah, she's cute. Girls were like, wait a minute, hold on. They started putting up different pictures of this girl. Like, wait a minute. You saying this girl ain't cute? Chill. And those same people was quickly finding pictures of Claressa like, just chill. You shouldn't even try to argue. Stop trying to fight people online and calling people ugly. And that's the thing. When they started calling her ugly and started putting up her pictures, then she immediately, I'm not ugly. And I know the next couple of days she's going to spin that narrative that people are, mean to her. And because she's a black, dark-skinned woman, people calling her ugly online. But y'all have it right here in front of me. That girl did not call her ugly. Now, she said, I know Pap got some dick. Now, she didn't necessarily say, I know Claressa gave him some dick. I don't know what she's insinuating with that. She could be insinuating he has a real boyfriend. We don't know, right? Because she didn't say your name. But you took that as open game to call this girl ugly, something that you don't like to be called. You always saying that people call you ugly, people say you look like a man, people, all this stuff, right? But you took it upon yourself to call this girl ugly. Very interesting. And it backfired because everybody quickly found your ugly pictures and loaded them up.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And I have a
And then
conversation
these
with
two
anybody.
right here. First of all, I want to say, YouTube, I love you. Tasha K, I love you. Geisha D, I love you. Give y'all all kisses. Okay? I'm not staying here long, but what I did want to react to, first I want to say, Chef's kiss, the coming together of these two women. During the training, her camp, 10 weeks, Claressa mentioned Tasha K and Geisha Dean by name. And she said that they are a plague to the black community and she hates them. Do you remember that, guys? Do y'all remember that? Well, funny enough for her, Tasha K invited Geisha Dean, or Geisha 305, as she's known on YouTube, to her show for an interview, a candid talk about Geisha and how she became the viral sensation she is today. Of course, it's like 2 hours, and it was a good interview. It was really good. And of course, it wasn't all about Claressa, right? So I'm not going to definitely go over to Tasha K and check that out. It was good. It was definitely good. I just wanted to react to small things that they mentioned about Claressa that I found interesting. So let's get into it. This is the conversation between Geisha Dean and Tasha K that just took place this week.
And I'm still open to have a conversation with that person. But it was just like, but you're not going to come into my comments. You're not going to come in my DM, even with the neighborhood talk. Kyle has the same shit. Kyle was like, I had to block her. It gets ridiculous.
Wow.
And it'd be like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and it's like nonstop. People don't even know that side. You understand what I'm saying? It's like nonstop, and it's like, okay, listen, whatever you say, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, but you're not going to dictate what's going on the page.
Okay.
So that was the only reason I did it.
Okay.
But we still, we we still put our news out.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was around that time, and everybody was talking about that story. That was a big story.
But I heard you got a cease and desist note, and I did too.
You got a cease and desist? From who? Who you got a cease and desist from?
The
Geisha?
Gladiator.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
Yes, Claressa Coleslaw Shields.
Yes, she did give me. Okay. My team actually fucked up on that one though. They said she was smoking weed. I didn't make a video stating that, but in a caption, they wrote, I guess.
But she was being investigated.
Right, she was being investigated. I reported on that part, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the caption, my team was like, well, I guess maybe all that weed Papoose had her smoking when they was in Hawaii had clouded her judgment. So she sent that caption in. And I was like, what the fuck is she talking about?
But you don't believe birds of a feather flock together.
Absolutely, I do.
So you don't believe that individual that's constantly around people, friends,
absolutely,
significant other,
absolutely,
getting high,
I do
they
what my
don't
friends
get high.
do. I do what my friends do.
Okay. So at the end of the day, if it's in your system, I've known when you get tested just by somebody blowing around you,
you can come up positive.
I heard that I heard different. I heard it has to be where you're also inhaling it. It can't just be on your clothes or around you. You have to be inhaling it in order for it to come up in your system. Now I know
So
they
I
say
don't
contacts come up on test.
So, and I don't know how that works because, so for example, I've heard of secondhand smoke giving people cancer. Have you heard of that? Like secondhand smoke from cigarettes, and secondhand smoke being dangerous in some instances, more dangerous to a person that, you know, has like a weaker lungs capacity or system going on there, right? I've heard that. I don't know. Like I like to count the green, so I don't know. I don't really know how that works, but I'm leading me to believe like if the cigarette smoke, like secondhand smoke, cigarette smoke can possibly cause effects to people, I could possibly see where weed could get into their system, right? I don't know. That jury's. Let me know. Let me just look. I can sit here and debate, but let me see here. You know me. I'm always trying to figure out something for you all. Just because I don't want to lead with an assumption. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to like, oh, you're wrong and I'm wrong. I don't want to be loud and wrong. So it says, will secondhand marijuana smoke, it says, can you get a contact from secondhand marijuana smoke? Yes, it is possible to get high from secondhand cannabis smoke, but it depends on the amount of your exposure to the THC, the active part of the cannabis that causes the high. A secondhand high also depends on the amount of, you know how to expand that. I hate when I open it up and then it just does not take you to where you was at. So it says a secondhand high also depends on how much ventilation there is in the space where smoke is present. For example, spending an hour in an unventilated room with cannabis smoke could be enough to get a contact high, but you're much less likely to get a contact high outdoors in a large, well-ventilated area. That makes sense to me because I remember just being a kid and they're saying like, you know, it's bad for kids to be around cigarette smoke, right? Secondhand cigarette smoke. And you know how cigarette smoke can get in your clothes and in your hair and it just lingers, right? So I don't see why smoking weed would be any different, but I'm with them on that. It depends on the ventilation. Now, if you was in a car hot boxing, that's old school. But if you was in a car and you're driving somewhere and there's like 3 out of 4 people are smoking weed in the car, right? And they're like, no one's opening a window or the window's cracked because you don't want the smell of the weed to get out or whatever. That fourth person can get high or can get a contact. I've seen that. I've seen it where people have been around that don't smoke weed at all and, they caught the contacts. Oh, yeah, I see that. Now, And I could see that possibly being the case for her, but I'm also with in agreement of saying that, it was weed in the presence of her, because it's not going to show up in your system just willy nilly from drinking juice or, you had to either partake or be in close proximities with minimal ventilation, i.e., a hotel room, a car, someplace where you're kind of closed in and you are inhaling it um just naturally, like you're not even doing it on purpose, right? You're just inadvertently inhaling it because you're just in the room, right? So yeah, it can actually be in your system, just
But I
depend.
was
And
told
then it
this.
also lets me know another thing here, not to cut off, keep Miss Geisha here, but another thing lets me know that her friends don't think about her, because you are a boxer, you're an athlete, you're supposed to be held to a high standard, right? Even if you want to say, oh, I'm cool, I'm hanging out with them, I'm having a good time, and I'm finally being one with the cool kids, you have to step up and say for yourself, nah, I can't be around this because, I get drug tested. This is my job. This is my livelihood. I can't be around this. And put your foot down. Or you can't do that around me. I know, for example, and y'all keep me honest out there, but 50 Cent does not do any drugs. He doesn't drink any liquor. He doesn't do anything because he said he didn't come this far, to get what he got, to be compromised with drugs and liquor and all that stuff. I love that about 50 Cent, and I think that that's a standard that you would have to set for yourself. Like, hey, look, you can't come around me with that madness. You can't come around me smoking because my job entails drug testing and this is my livelihood, right? So I believe that it could have been either or. It could have been she smoked a little something, or she was in a non-ventilated room and caught secondhand smoke, didn't think it was going to be in her system, and it ended up in her system.
Different. I was told you have to.
Claressa. So you think somebody gave her a shotgun?
I believe she's who
in your opinion,
her friends are. I believe
opinion.
she's who her friends are.
Okay.
The reason being is a person that has moral character, decency, their surrounding won't be the opposite of that. Like she had this friend that was with her in the weigh-in, and the friend kept calling her the B word. And she was finding offense to it. And the friend kept calling her that and kept calling her that every time she told her to stop.
Hood, yeah.
She's from the hood. So that lets me know behind the scenes, when the camera ain't running, you're okay with her calling you that. But when you're in front of the camera, you want to be well respected. But this is you. This is who you are behind the scenes.
I agree with Geisha.
Because you allowed it. And the girl didn't know how to turn it off because you normally do it.
I don't call it a gladiator. I call it a mistress.
Okay. That's why I call it coleslaw. What's coleslaw? A side order.
A side bitch.
So Claressa.
Or side salad. I like to add side salad to the mix.
Coleslaw soup. Yeah, to Papoose.
She let a nigga with a toupee.
Yeah, but
make her a side
But he's
bitch.
not attractive to me.
He's not.
Facts.
But let him tell it. He can't stand when people go in on him. Talking about, I'm really a good dude out here.
See, I thought that because that's what Remy led us to believe. She led us to believe that he was a stand-up guy. He always had her back. But when everything hit the fan, you start spilling all this tea that we didn't know. So you start sounding like the boy that cried wolf, because you start saying that he was taking advantage of your money. You were a provider.
And I got to pause right there. I agree with Geisha, because I said the same thing. Like when everything first went down, and not even the exposing when Papoose and Remy, when Remy exposed Claressa and Papoose. I'm not even talking about that. I'm gonna go back a bit. When we started seeing Easy the Block Captain with Remy Ma, and in particular when she did that, I even have that on. I reacted to it, guys. I'm telling you, I've been on this. I've been in these. Swimming in these trenches, in these streets for about a year now, honestly. But excuse me, honestly. So I said to myself, like, I'm not feeling the whole Easy to Block Captain and Remy and you're parading him around. She did a news interview and the lady immediately was like, how's Papoose? How's the golden child? Where's Fat Joe? And she said it just like that. Y'all look it up. Look up that news report, that news interview where she brought Easy the Block Captain up there, Remy, and he had on the matching outfits. I, as a fan of the love and hip hop and the whole black love situation and the family, and thinking that Papoose was a good guy at the time, I didn't like it. I let it slide though, because I was like, all right, she's saying she's managing him, but I got a lot of questions here. You know, it's supposed to be a female league, rap battle league. Now you're managing a guy. It's supposed to be, a business relationship, but y'all in matching outfits. It was a lot of questions for me there. But now that you have the full picture, because you ever see that thing where it's like you look at something through a pee hole and you just see one thing, and you pull it out a little bit, you see a little bit more, and you pull it out a little bit and you can see a little bit more until you pull it out and see the full actual picture. And I think that's what's happening for us now. We're pulling it out a bit and we're seeing the full actual picture. So I'm with Geisha Dean. I thought that he was a good guy. I thought Papoose was a good guy, and Remy was giving him hell. That's what I thought. But then when something makes you be like, huh? You gotta question it. When she said, oh, he's with Claressa Shields and she's been in my DM since 2020 and blah, 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 I was like, huh? That doesn't even sound right. So it made my spidey senses go up. Now, did I go down the rabbit holes and everything? I tell you this and I'll tell you again. I did not go down the rabbit holes. I tried to avoid it at all costs until Laila Ali entered the chat. And now here we all are. Here we all are. But I agree. Like, even in the interview that he did with the Breakfast Club, and I reacted to it, and I was like, the fact that he went back to, like, skipped over 20 years ago. So, oh, look, remember, I was wearing in jail. I'm a good guy. So what happened between jail and now? What happened to cause the marriage to sour? Because you would want to say that it was her cheating on you, but I don't believe that. I believe that when she realized that she was over, or she realizes that she's done with the marriage, she stepped on. She stepped out and moved on. That's the vibe I get. I could be wrong, because like I tell you all the time, I'm not in the people's bedrooms, right? I'm just a reaction channel. So let's get back to it.
We thought he was providing. We thought he was coming to the jailhouse
and it was her money.
Man, he was sure in the bag.
I mean, listen, he's an IG thought. He's an IG model.
He's an IG.
He's an IG model.
But you know what?
Listen.
What blew me away is when Claressa and Papoose was on that Gilly and Wallow interview, and he said who pursued who first.
Oh yeah.
And Claressa was like, I'll say Papoose. And he said, no, you were in my DMs.
Facts. I remember that.
Oh, he was married. So when these people
she was in Remy DM.
And let me pause it right there, because we know. A lot of people want to not act like that. And then I think also, and that's the thing that, I don't know if it's the New York in them, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm from New York myself, but you guys already know that. Damn. But I don't know if it's in New York and Papoose. But when he did that interview with Wallow and Gilly, and they said who slid in whose DMs first, she looked at him hoping that he was going to agree with her. She was like, I would say Pap slid in my DMs. And he leaned forward. He looked around her. He looked Gilly and Wallow directly in the face and was like, nah, she slid in my DMs. And then they went crazy. That's when you saw Wallow and Gilly sliding across the table like, she slid in your DMs like this. And it was just making an extra, mayhem around it, because it's like, yo, they literally laughing at you because you're trying to make it seem one way, and he straight up kept it truthful, and now look at you. But I don't think she caught that. She didn't have enough discernment to catch that, right? But it was a lot. Like, believe it or not, them two together, Papoose and Claressa, I don't think they realize how much they're exposing each other as bad people. You know how some people can get together as a couple and you'd be like, wow, they really bring out the best in each other, right? I said it on my last reaction. I said her whole crew is starting to look like a cast of Gotham City villains. All of them. Papoose is the main one. The Joker. I don't know. Penguin.
Asking her for fashion tips.
Oh, messy. The same time.
See, them the bitches right there. You got to watch them though.
Facts.
That's scandalous.
I'm telling you.
But how you get them is how you lose them.
Wait, what you saying?
What I'm saying
this
is
part was
ain't there for the ride, the long haul. He not there for the long haul.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Remy. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on for a second. Because I know Remy.
Before he got a Remy house. Okay, go ahead.
And said that, Papoose has put hands on her, according to her. And so
The quiet ones do that.
yeah, but I saw some interviews and I saw like, she's really tense. Anytime he comes around, she hangs up the phone. You can tell you can tell when somebody's a victim.
Do you think? Because Remy was a big girl in the beginning. She was kind of styled like a Claressa. Like Claressa is the knockoff version of her, the rendition of Remy.
Okay, we're gonna leave it right there, right? But to expand on that, right? She was saying, like, do you really believe that Papoose was beating on Remy because Remy was, a bigger girl? Let me tell you, I've seen a short man beat the hell out of his tall wife, and it's not that I'm justifying it or anything like that. Size does not matter, right? When it comes to abuse. I don't condone abuse or violence in any way, so that's going to be first and foremost. But I will say this, it's been floating around recently, so I'm going to look for it because I'm going to add that to my next collection because it was floating around since about the last good week now. But Claressa was being interviewed about something, and they was asking her about Papoose or whatever, and then they was like, how do you get along, and how do you guys work it out or whatever, like how they get along so well type of question, right? And then she was like proceeding to tell how they get along, and at the end she said, because Papoose got a hand problem. And it wasn't that's why I want to find it, because I'm paraphrasing right now, and I will find it so I can kind of react to it, because it wasn't like she was saying like, oh, if I'm out flirting, Papoose is gonna knock somebody out. And we know he's done that. We know he punched Easy the Block Captain. We know he punched the guy who was calling her Serena Williams. Like, we know that Papoose, he will fight. But it's one thing to say, oh, my man would knock you out. Oh, he don't play about me. Or if he see anything going crazy, Papoose gonna step up. He ain't even gonna he's like, nah, you save your fighting for the ring. Something to let you know that he's coming to your aid or your defense, right? But saying Papoose has a hand problem after you're literally talking about navigating through your relationship with him, it leads me to believe that he allegedly, possibly may have put hands on you. I don't know. You see how perception is reality, right? So it's easy to perceive that, but I don't want to set up a narrative. I don't want to insinuate anything. I'm going to find that footage and we're going to react to it. And then you tell me what you think. But other than that, it's a short one. I'm going to leave you right here. But the girlies, it's Claressa versus everybody at this point, right? And it seems like it's ramping up. It seemed like a lot of people was rooting for Franchon, but it didn't happen. The humbling that we thought possibly could have been on the horizon, it didn't happen, right? So she's back. She's cockier than ever. But the ladies aren't letting down, apparently, right? So you all tell me what you think. Did you all see the full 2-hour interview with Tasha K and Geisha? What did y'all think of that? Did you all see her live when she was going crazy talking to Franchon? Did you see Franchon's live when she was going off and giving her opinions about Claressa? Now, what do you think about Laila? Laila, if you out there, you're hearing me, please, 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 feel free to tag me in your next proof-o-mentary. So as soon as it pops up, I already have my notifications on. I'm already on deck. But if you want to do a little extra, so I could get it first and I could go ahead and get in on it, please do that. Because I'm here for it. It doesn't even matter if you do or not. I'm here for it, and we'll be reacting to it. So I'm going to leave you all right there, guys, and you join me in the comments. Don't meet me there, beat me there. And right now, I'm going to hit you with the motto, and I'm going to leave you with the brand. If you like anything I do, tell a friend. If you don't like anything I do, tell a friend. And from my lips to your ears, you know I love you, right? But I need you to love me. So go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications. When you hit that like button, you're going to see a swipe to the right. Hit that hype button. Hype me up, guys, all right? And then from there, join me in the comments, share it, tell a friend, and tell a friend. And until next time, it's your girl Gangali and the She Could Talk to podcast, and I'm out. Peace.
They talk about it. 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 They talk about it.